big g'day and welcome back to another big edition of the RDFNL Footy Show. My name's Jenny and joined by Tara Murray from the Star Weekly. In round two, we're finally locked and ready to go. And what a big weekend we've got.
I know, it's back to normal football, all your matches on the one day. We've got a first up at Woodend Heskett with the first night match under lights up there. And we've got some cracker of some games as well.
Absolutely. And Diggers Rest will get their first run of the 2018 season as they tackle Broadford at home. In the past, we might have seen a big physical contest between these two sides, given Broadford's strength. But unfortunately, they're in a bit of development stage, and Diggers Rest, they're finally ready to hit the track. But I just don't know if they probably haven't had the ideal preparation heading into this year.
Probably not the ideal, but I probably feel sorry for Broadford a little bit because Diggers Rest would be hanging to get on the field. Obviously, they watched the first part of round one, expected to play last week, didn't get on, so they'll be etching to get out on the field. And they finished last year very disappointingly, and they've admitted that.
Yep.
They want to get out on the field and show what they can do. So I'm expecting a massive win from Diggers Rest.
I'm almost of a different opinion of if the game between Romsey and Diggers, for those who didn't catch up on it, and the decision, you check out the RDFNL website for full details there. But I think it probably actually benefits Broadford a little bit more because you would have had Diggers regardless of the result. They would have had the tough game against Romsey, and they'd be like, okay, what can we do to improve? So, and no doubt if they had got rolled, then they would have come back with even more momentum. So I almost look at the opinion, well, this is Diggers' Rest chance to sort of just iron out a few cobwebs, and it probably won't be as bad as what some might expect. So they've got to blow the cobwebs out somewhere, and I think this is the game for them to do it too.
And for them blowing out the cobwebs, it's probably ideal coming against a side that will be towards the lower end of the ladder.
Yeah, exactly. We know they've had a few changes in their list in the off season, so hopefully for the better for their sake. But yeah, Broadford, they'll be taking as many positives, and that's what you do out of round one. You look at what you need to improve, and I think they'll be taking plenty of positives out of that. Which would be great. So Rupert's Wood and Romsey, another interesting game because Rupert's would have had their game, Romsey haven't.
It is.
A big blockbuster.
It is. I think this is one of the two matches that I think will be the matches of the round. Obviously, there's another really good one which we'll talk about later on. And it'll be quite interesting. Early last year, Romsey actually knocked off Rupert's Wood.
Correct, at home too.
At home. So it was one of those ones at home that Romsey knocked off a couple of those top sides. But this time it's at Rupert's Wood. So Rupert's Wood seemed to play their ground really well. And they started like we thought they would in round one, had a really, really good win. And I expect it to be close because at times at Shark Park, that was down at the tank.
The tank, yeah.
Yeah, it can be low scoring, but yeah, I expect Rupert's Wood to get up.
Yeah, and again, sort of what I mentioned about Diggers Rest before, just Romsey not having the chance to blow at the cobwebs as well, get that feel of learning what you can from that first game. And warm conditions are expected as well, so it will come down to a bit of fitness too, and I probably think Rupert's would be advantaged, but I wouldn't be surprised if Romsey do come up and shock, probably not the competition because we know they're going to be up there this year, but maybe pull off that win that not too many expect.
Look, I think people will expect them to be competitive and be a really competitive match. I'm still sticking with Rupert's Wood. I think at this point in the season, they haven't shown us anything that we didn't expect. And after a good round one, and they've got a really hard start to the season, so they want to put a few wins on the board early to stamp their authority. Yeah,
I'm with you. I think Rupert's Wood will win that one, but it'll certainly put a few more bums on seats because a lot of people will be growing in anticipation just how the Redbacks will perform. We know the Redbacks fans, they travel very, very well. Rockbank playing host to the Sunbury Kangaroos. The Kangaroos showed a lot of really good form against Rupert's Wood under lights a few weeks ago, and Rockbank, disappointing performance last week, but they know that. Are they a chance to maybe sort of maybe cause a bit of an upset here?
I think Sunbury Kangaroos will get up. They showed, obviously, you look at the two opponents they had in round one. Sunbury Kangaroos played Rupert's Wood, who we all expect to be up there. Rockbank played Melton Centrals, which we think will improve, but maybe not pushing for finals. So very different opponents, very different weather as well. So obviously, I think Rockbank will be looking for a better performance than they had in round one, but I'm expecting Sunbury Kangaroos to get their first win of the season. Yeah,
I'm with you on that one there. Very a weekend played in different conditions. As we turn our attention to, we'll go to Macedon and Lansfield. The Cats unfurled the 2017 Premiership flag. I'm not fast forwarding to 2019 and predicting they might go back to back, but the Cats will be keen to flex their muscles here, and Lansfield keen to improve on their round one effort against Wood End.
Well, exactly. I think Macedon weren't 100% pleased with their first round performance, but they came away with the win against Riddle, and that's all you want from round one, especially against a high quality side as the Bombers. I think Macedon, obviously the flag will be a special day for them up there, and I'm expecting a big win. They seem to put their foot down against the lower ranked sides last year, and we're all expecting Lansfield to be one of those teams, so I'm expecting a massive win from the Cats.
And I'll probably relate this more to the Diggers Broadford scenario, is that if Diggers had played Romsey, they would have had that hard physical hit out, and regardless of the result, the Cats got up against the Bombers in round one. They've had that really good, enduring physical hit out. They know what they need to do to improve, and they play a team that there's nothing expected to challenge so much this year, and they're in development stage. There's no doubt about it, just like Broadford. So this is where I probably think like Macedon are probably a bit more advantaged than what Diggers are in that particular game, because they've had that tough hit out.
And I think the one thing with the Cats to be aware whether they maybe rest a couple of players who had they had a couple of injury concerns after round one, because they do take to the field on Wednesday on Anzac Day, so they've only got that short turnaround. So if there's a big margin, expect some of those guys who may be carrying a few niggles to be on the bench, or maybe even not play this weekend.
Yep, certainly will draw a lot of interest. And the other big game of the round that which you did highlight, we've got Wallen and Riddle. What a mouth-watering contest this shapes up to be.
This is a crucial match at this stage. Obviously, the Bombers, who had a poor start last year and then really came through the middle of the season out firing, they could be 0-2 after round two.
Yeah.
So they had a tough start last season, got a tough one this one. They only just fell short in round one. So obviously they'll be disappointed with the result, but obviously that showed they are in the mix. So it's crucial for both sides to get a win against a side which is likely to be a finals contender.
Which way do you see this one going?
I've tipped the Bombers, but I think it could easily go either way. You look, Wallen started well against Broadford, which we expected, but then you look at the even spread they had across the board.
I think that's probably what will persuade my tip personally. I think Wallen will. They're always hard to beat a Green Hill reserve. There's no doubt about that at all. And if they're a chance to go 2-0, this is the big one, and they'll make their assertion right up the ladder. And Wallen traditionally start quite well at the start of the year, and I expect this to be a big launching pad against a quality opposition. But we're going to see as good a game as what we saw back in round one between the Bombers and the Cats. And Saturday night football creates history this weekend as the Gilbert Gordon Oval fields its very first home game. 4 points. We've got Wood End Heskett versus Melton Centrals, and I cannot wait to see how this one unfolds.
I think the guys up at Wood End Heskett have been looking forward to this game for a long, long time. We all know the struggles they've had with their ground. Firstly, the ground itself, and now they've got their facilities up to standard as well. So I think it'll be a really good match. Both these sides are coming off wins, and really good wins, but against sides that are expected to be lower in the ladder. I think Wood End Heskett will get up. I think they need to get up if they're going to play finals. I think they're probably a step further ahead than Melton Centrals. So it'll be quite an interesting match. I know Centrals did get up last year in this corresponding match, which I think shocked a lot of people, but I expect the Hawks to win this time.
I'm with you on that one as well. And for Wood End Heskett, they need to win, and I think they need to win well, because they need to have a few games early in the season where they need to make a statement. Like they've got Rockbank coming up the following week after that, and they've got a big game against Romsey. If they can be 4-0 after the first few weeks and have some good solid wins behind them before they do tackle on Rupert's Wood in round 5, we said a lot last year. We believe that given the strength of the Hawks list, they underperformed last year, and now they've got a little bit of additional depth in there. They've got a change of coach, and I think they've got that potential. But the Centrals, if you're only as good as your last quarter, actually both sides, I think they kicked 9 goals in their last quarter. So the irony of that as well, if you're only as good as your last quarter, well, both teams kicked 9 goals in the last quarter. So, I think it sort of shapes up to be an interesting one. But great to see Saturday night footy at the GGO, something we have not seen for points before in the competition, which is great for that club.
It is, and showcasing two different sides under the lights instead of your big name clubs, two of your lesser likes.
Correct. Tara, thanks so much for joining us on this week's edition of the Footy Show. We look forward to catching up with you next week as we preview a little bit of Anzac Day footy and look back on the episode.
Thanks, Evan.